Welcome back, YouTube. Today, going to be doing the dreams. Going to be split up into different videos. So I've already done the pipe dream recording, so you've hopefully already seen that. The stock pot is normally the next one that you would have access to. This is Zia's story. And for this one, you're going to be facing a lot of the wilds enemies. Birds, large and small, as well as the lunkhead frog things and the wallflowers and such like that. So for this, I am running 10 gods. I'm going to be running the Army Carbine, the Fire Bellows, and Ring of Fire. Burning Carousel may work better for this, depending on... I think these are relatively similar. One is just a Fire Nova. The other one has you actively spinning, which also does not use ammo while you're doing so. But this is basically an instant explosion, and this is more of a secondary attack, if you will. Then for spirits, I've got Hardy Punch to offset Champagne. I've got Doomshine for some crit chance. Leech Aid, very necessary for 10 gods in my opinion, unless you're like perfect at the game. To offset Leech Aid, Bastion Bourbon. Ware Whiskey for when you're low. You can swap this one out if you want. Can be useful, depending on how you want to play. But it plays nicely with Life Wine. So you go really low health, you save yourself just barely, get a hit in there that's crit, get just enough health to reset the Life Wine. As long as you get any healing, it resets. Stab Synth is a way to reset that healing in combination with the Leech Aid. And then I run the secret skills bonus for this one and the last one. I believe I ran it for that last time I did it. This helps just get your tonics to actually do some damage. Depending on what special skill you're running, it can be deflected. So if it's a single target, it can be a little bit riskier. And that's where having the extra tonics actually comes into play. I don't have that. I'm going to try it without the extra tonics. There's just a couple rounds where you can get mobbed in Zia's dream. But you can see how all 10 gods there. And then I'll show you my loadout for my weapons. I'm running this. Got extra speed while aiming, extra aiming speed, crit chance, damage, and area damage. I like the area damage because, again, if you're mobbed, it can be really helpful to just deal with ink eyes or the birds. Aiming speed can be really good on the carbine as well, but I think 50% is enough up above. And then for bellows, I've got fuel generation over wide flames. I've got bonus damage per flame. Flames cause lasting burn can be pretty good as well. One of the gods causes regeneration of health. I believe it's like 5.5% of the target's health. And the lasting burn turns that off. It does a little bit of damage, so it does tick down, but any damage resets the timer on the regeneration. Basically stops it as far as I'm aware. But the damage per flame, this is going to go along with the secret skill, Fire Nova, that I'm going to be running, which will help me just clear the room when I get mobbed. Because I've had that ruin my first 10 gods attempt. We got more fuel generation. I don't find crippling foes to be all that useful. Attack speed over damage resistance. Both of these are really good. The damage resistance, it feels very large. I don't know if it's additive or multiplicative to the 15% damage resistance drink, but it just feels really good if you need that. Otherwise, attack speed will just help you clear a lot faster. This is useful for, again, like the lunkheads. I'm running the carbine with AoE, area damage, instead of armor piercing. The Fire Bellows by default armor pierces. I mostly just don't like the industrial furnace, but you can't move, so it's a big trade-off. Whereas in this, just allows you to move while attacking, move faster while attacking. Either of these really depends on your playstyle. I'm just not a big fan of the industrial furnace because if I'm getting mobbed, or if I'm just taking down a single target, those are the two major cases. So I can just pull out my shield most of the time anyway. And then we'll start it up.
He wolfs down too much too fast, and it all goes to his head. I've said a lot about the kid, but he ain't the only one wrapped up in all this.
So like last video, I will refrain from talking too much in the actual combat here. The narrator will talk constantly during these dreams, telling a story, so I don't want to talk over him.
What's he thinking? Let me see if I got this straight. I only heard it once. Once there was a normal girl, but she wasn't born in the tassel terminals like the rest of her people. She was from Zealandia. Her folks were orphaned in the war, taken in and raised inside the city, on condition they would never return to the terminals. Her refugees who came into the city had to stay for life. It was a way to reduce the risk of city secrets leaking out.
So especially against these enemies, you can heal by just letting them heal back up. It takes a little bit of time, but it works. You can also use the angle of these projectiles to kill other pincushions.
Her mama passed away from birthing complications, leaving the girl trapped inside that city with no one but her father. Her father was sharper than a brusher's pike, so he got a job working for the city's mancers. His daughter barely saw him. told her nothing of her Ura heritage. He told her nothing of the Mansers. It's for your own good, he said. She took to studying the arts, learned more through music than history books, gained a knack for strings and songs. At first, she tried to be like other girls, but her classmates spread word that her father was an Ura trader, selling out the city. One young man stood up for her, or so he led her to believe. He knew much of her heritage, and she grew fond of him. The young man convinced her to take him to a family den to meet her father. Spoke of how he wanted to meet a man from the terminals. When the young man greeted her father in the Ura's native language, her father flew into a fit of rage and threw them out. The young man never told her that the Ura's native language is not to be used by foreigners. To do so is a terrible insult. It was then that she decided to escape. The two of them could flee the city together and go to the Tassel terminals.
Dig my hole, build a wall.
They would hide inside a garbage bin until it got ingested by a scumbag, then let him slosh on out of the city for disposal.
One day that wall is gonna fall. Dig that city on a hill. Gonna build that city.
But the authorities were already there when that scumbag sidled up to the city walls. The young man had sent the authorities a tip. Told him her father was using her to sell secrets to the Tazzle terminals.
That was close.
She and her father were arrested for treason, but her father got a deal. Returned to work for the Mansers, and she'd go free. Before they parted ways for the last time, her father whispered a desperate plea. Hurry home to the den and lock yourself in. She did as she was told, and deep down underground inside that den, she found a journal written in her father's hand. The next day, the door to the den turned to ash. The girl came up for air, and she saw the calamity all around her.
There it is.
When the kid wakes up, his world's still in pieces, just the way he left it.
That was 10 gods, all active. I've seen it done with different weapons. Primarily the Galleon Mortar is the one I saw most recently. But if you like this content, we are coming to the close, I know, of wow, mumbling a lot, sorry. we're coming to the close of Bastion. I'm probably about halfway through the Halls of Torment recordings. I'm trying to do one for each class. So if you like this content, I have to say it, please like and subscribe. This channel is not intended to become a income source for me. It's just, I'm looking for an audience. I'm looking for people who care about game mechanics. I'm looking to spread my capacities, get better at talking, and share things I love. And this is one of those games that I love. So that's the end of Dream 2. Thanks for watching.